Hi, good morning. It's a wonderful day, and I'm so excited to share with you on day 3 my observations and tools that I've picked up along the way about managing time. Now, this isn't the same kind of time management as in an organizer, though those are great, but this is more around how can we recognize that time is actually our own personal time and that we're in control of it. So I'm going to give you 3 tools that I've learned around how to speed up and slow down time, how to make more of it, and then also how to enjoy the time that we have. Are you ready? I hope you saw yesterday's vlog, and if you didn't, just a quick summary. It went over some foundational things around time, and it recognized that time is relative, and not only that, time is personal to each individual. And one of the things that Gay Hendricks identified is that we actually have an abundance of time. In fact, we make our own time. So if you stop and think about that, time is yours, all right? And this is going to be very important because the first thing about speeding up and slowing down time is to recognize that there is an abundance of time. When we think of time as a scarcity or linear time, Newtonian time, then it's always running out, right? And so once it's scarce, we're packing it full of things because there's never enough time. But when we get rid of the scarcity thinking and we think, you know what? I create my own time. I am in control of my own time, and there is an abundance of time. I have enough time to do everything that I should do. That's a huge mind shift, and it takes a while to think through this, but I really want you to consider, what would life be like if you had an abundance of time? If you have enough time to do everything that you should be doing, because you actually do. So the first tool that I'm going to give you on speeding up and slowing down time is actually to stop thinking of time as scarcity and then start thinking of time as an abundance. You have plenty of it. The second tool I'm going to give you is actually in a realization of how time works. Now, I shared with you an example yesterday of the exact same 5 minutes. One person can be holding a bowling ball straight out and time goes really slow for them. And another person can be chatting away with a friend and time goes really fast for them, but it's the same 5 minutes, right? So it's natural to draw the conclusion that pain makes time slow down and joy makes time speed up. It's not actually true. However, it does tend to work that way, right? So the more pain that we're in, the slower time seems to go, and the more joy we're having, the faster time seems to go. It seems to work that way, but that's not actually what's happening. What's happening is your awareness of the details during that segment of what I'm calling clock time, okay? The more details that you pay attention to, the slower time will go. And in fact, a scientist actually studied this, and his name was David Engelman, and he was a neuroscientist. And so he was able to prove that the more detailed the memories you have, the longer the moment lasts. So one way to slow down time is to actually pay close attention to details, and that allows you to slow down time. So if you think about the bowling ball guy, you know, he's probably noticing how his arms hurt. In fact, he's not only noticing how his arms hurt, he's noticing every single muscle within those arms, and that's all he can pay attention to are those details within the pain of his arm. You talk about the friends, you know, they're just in flow. They are going and chit-chatting and having a great time, but they're not noticing all of the details that are surrounding them. They are in this thing called flow. So if you want to slow down time, pay attention to the details. If you want to speed up time, then get into flow as quickly as you possibly can. Now, flow is where we are, doing things without thinking about it. And oftentimes we can be in flow when we're in what Gay Hendricks calls our genius zone, or when we're doing things that we're really good at or things that we really enjoy doing. That's actually going to speed up time. So if you want to slow that down, you have to, once you're in flow, interrupt yourself. And not only that, enjoy the interruptions that come, all right? So the way to slow down time when you're having a good time is enjoy the interruptions. That allows you to take a moment and breathe in the details, take a moment and notice what's going on. So when you get into flow, I know for me, this is a really hard one because I hate getting interrupted. I love momentum. Momentum is like how I get to everything. But my days go by super fast when that happens. And I've noticed that when I enjoy the interruption, it allows me to slow down my days and actually enjoy them even more, or at least for a longer perceived time. All right, so we talked about stop thinking that time is scarce. We talked about noticing the details, paying attention to now. And oh, by the way, isn't there a great movement right now going on about mindfulness and paying attention to details and now? So that's it makes a lot of sense. And then we also talked about when you are in the flow and you're enjoying it, also enjoy the interruption. It's another way to slow down time while enjoying it. So those are my 3 techniques on speeding up and slowing down time. But what about needing to make more of time? I mentioned that there's an abundance of time, and that's absolutely true. But one of the things that we all need to recognize is that we are responsible for our own time. And we're making decisions every day that impact how much time we have. And that's because when we say yes to something, we're actually saying no to other things, okay? So if, for instance, I say, yes, I'm going to, help out with some project, then what that's doing is saying, I am setting aside a certain amount of time to help this other thing happen. Therefore, I don't have time to do something else that I wanted to do. I'm prioritizing, right? And that's not a problem at all, but I want you to be aware of your priorities. Be aware that when you're saying yes to something, you're actually saying no to something else. So be sure that before you say yes to something, you think about what are the things that I'd have to say no to in order to say yes to this. That way you're able to prioritize your time to be able to spend it in the places where you want to spend it. So that is something that I recommend that we do to make more time. Now, I recognize we can't all, just do only the things that we want to do. So then that brings me to my 3rd and final thing about loving time. And I highly, highly recommend, if you haven't already read Byron Katie and Love What Is, that is something I recommend that you pick up. It's important to understand we should love every moment that there is just because that is our reality. And if we're comfortable with loving our reality and not fighting it, then we're of course going to enjoy it a little bit more. My grandfather had mentioned that if you can't do what you love, you should learn to love what you do. And when you do that, you'll never have to work a day in your life. This is a really important thing to think about. And I'm not going to do it any justice here today when we're talking about time, but I do want you to research Byron Katie and Loving What Is and learning how to love our reality, because once we start to love it, we start to enjoy everything we do, no matter how hard or how difficult it may be. That's one of the things that really helped me get through this whole cancer thing at the very beginning. I knew from the moment they told me I might have cancer that I was going to enjoy this journey, regardless of the fact that I had cancer, come what may. And at this time I didn't know, what level of cancer it was or anything else. I just knew I was going to love this moment and cherish every moment that I have because it's a gift given to me. So I hope you've enjoyed this and the tools about time, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.